Hi, welcome to Suspended in Thought. The idea for today is, why do we decode children but not adults? We spend so much time trying to understand what sits beneath a child's behavior, hunger, tiredness, overwhelm, sleep. But when it comes to adults, we stop decoding and start reacting. Why is that? So I've been reading The Course of Love by Alan de Botton, and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing his name correctly. And I speak about the idea where he speaks about decoding, but prior to that, just a really, really quick overview of what the book's about. It's essentially him talking about the course of love and how falling in love is not really love. That's just the starting point. It's actually what happens after. It's the navigating life together, being with one another, coming with our own versions and baggage of love, and trying to create your own idea of what love is like when you're together. And then in that, he discusses how tiring one feels at the end of the day of parenting children. And part of the reason he's saying that is because love requires so much effort, because we are constantly decoding and trying to understand children's behavior. And we're constantly looking at, why is if your child's crying, or they're throwing a tantrum, or they're being difficult, our instinct is, hopefully our instinct is not to judge it but to understand it. We assume there's a reason. We ask, what's underneath this? Is she tired? Is she hungry? Is she overwhelmed? We don't take it personally. We just get really, really curious. But that level of curiosity doesn't just happen. It requires so much effort. It's quite difficult. And I think it's difficult because it requires so much patience. And patience is never passive. Patience is effortful. It asks us to pause, for us to regulate ourselves and resist reacting immediately. And I think, and this is me just like going with my thought, and I think we're more willing to do that with children because the love we have for them is different. It's not centered on us. The love we have for children is centered on them. And anyone who has children will be able to understand this. Even more so is just the idea of your child becomes the center of your life, and hence the love is about them and not about you anymore. When a child acts out, our instinct is, what's happening to them? Not, why are they doing this to me? But on a bad day, you can still say that. But with adults, interestingly, something shifts. When an adult acts out similarly, when they're distant with you, when they're short with you, when they're reactive, we stop decoding and we just start reacting. And I've been wondering why that's so. And I think part of it has to do with the expectation of what being an adult means. We hold adults, I feel, perhaps, we hold adults to a higher standard of civility and morality. We think they should know better, they should do better, and I deserve better. So instead of asking what's underneath that behavior, we judge the behavior itself. We take it at face value. And for children, we don't. Well, ideally, we don't. And I think something deeper is happening there as well. It's not just that we stop seeing their inner world. Somewhere our own inner world gets activated. And we're just so firmly in that then. We stop seeing their inner child and instead start reacting from our own. So instead of curiosity, we might come from a place of defensiveness or hurt or ego or past experiences. And suddenly it's no longer about understanding them. It becomes about protecting ourselves. And maybe that's the real difference. With children, we remove ourselves from the center. And with adults, we place ourselves firmly in the middle of it. So the way I see it, with children, we're able to detach ourselves from their behavior. And with adults, whether it's true or not, we attach ourselves to it. And that changes everything. Because adulthood or being an adult doesn't erase your inner world or your inner child. If anything, it just hides it better. And I see this in myself. As a parent, I can hold space for my daughter and her emotions and her messy, sometimes irrational or inconvenient behavior, and I'm able to see that as a reflection of her inner world, and I take a lot of pride in her ability to be able to share that with me, in fact. And I just know it's not about me. And I also know that with other adults, I don't always have the same space. Because now I'm involved and I don't have the same grace for them. Because now it feels personal. So I keep coming back to this. What would shift if we tried to see the inner child in adults? If instead of reacting, we paused and we became curious about what lies underneath their behavior, what amount of patience is required, what happens if we try to decode other adults' behavior and what lies underneath it instead of reacting ourselves? What do you think? Let me know if there's something in there that resonated with you, or if the thought lingers. Would love to hear if you can expand to it. So play with this, elongate it, make it your own. Comment below on this video, send me a message, send me an audio message, and I hope you have fun being suspended in thought.